Included in your startup kit, you're going to get this caliper. You can see here it gives you all your measurements for your bathtub. You're going to get a Robertson bit. We have Robertson screws in the side wall and the base of our tub, and apparently in some places people have trouble getting the Robertson tip, so we've included one with it. You're going to get this marking jig, the template. This goes on top of the tub, and your side markers go in there. You can see there's one groove there and a bunch here that get your different measurement, your width. You're going to get an instruction manual. Please read the instruction manual. We still have people that think they can do it without reading it and then end up with having some problems. So please read the manual. You also get a little care package with some brochures that you can hand out to your customers. When you receive your door kit, you're going to get just that. You're going to get a door kit. You get a package with the phenolic stiffeners in. This will be the pieces you carve to fit in the bottom and the two sides. There's a variety of screws and screw caps in here. You're also going to get these plywood jigs. These jigs are for marking the profile of this door kit. Okay. Now one fits in this outside groove, and one fits in whichever one of these grooves matches your bathtub. You're going to have different walls. Make sure that you're even. Check one side. Make sure both of these are even, because if one is offset from the other one, you're going to end up cutting your hole out of square. What you're going to need for equipment is this is overkill, but we put in a big fire extinguisher here to make sure that you do see it. If you're going to do any grinding or cutting, there's always sparks, and when you're cutting in an old building under a bathtub, you never know what's under there for newspaper or who knows what people stick in. So always make sure you have a fire extinguisher, safety mask and safety goggles, earplugs. These saws make quite a bit of noise when you're cutting, and very important to have drop cloths. If you're cutting, cover everything up, that way you can't damage a customer's floor, tile, toilet, and also you need one inside the bathtub. Some of the tools you're going to need are a tape measure, erasable marker. That's important, because if you mark on the tub and you cut in, generally you cut inside your mark, then you're going to end up having to clean the marks off, and it's very difficult. So use an erasable marker. The saber saw with a variety of blades. Mainly I use a saber saw for cutting through the top edge of the tub. Mostly we'll use a jigsaw because it does less chipping, less vibration. So we just use this basically on the top two corners to break through the wall of the tub. Caulking gun for doing your finishing, some caulking. A couple of levels. You need to level your jig. Square, you're always going to be checking everything with a square. Masking tape, important to mask wherever your saw is going to be going so it's not vibrating and scratching the porcelain on the tub. Extension cord, skill saw, jigsaw. When you're cutting in the bottom of the tub, across the bottom, you'll have to have a drill to drill a pilot hole to get your blade in on the inside and the outside. A variety of blades, you'll have to try which is best for you. Usually if the finer the blade, the better for metal. And the drill is for drilling pilot holes. That should be just about everything you need. Your basic carpentry tools is what you need. You also need to determine the position where you're going to put this in the tub. Now if you come to a person and they've got a chair that they want to keep and use in their bathtub, then obviously you have to push the door over more towards the drain. If you're using one of our optional flip seats, you want to position the door a little further over this way, close to the seat, so it's not situated too far away from the seat. So it's kind of a judgment call where you position these doors. Also, it's a judgment call which way you swing the door. Depends where the toilet is and where the cabinet is and things like that. Now, when I want to determine which door kit I need, the first thing I do is I try to get above the curve here. Okay, you see the curve? Now this one's got a really actually long curve. Most of them are sharper than that. And the farther you go down in the curve, the wider your door kit's going to be, and you got to watch out you don't run out of bathtub. See right about there, I'm lined up with the outside. I'm almost at an 8-inch kit right there. So I'm going to determine that that's going to be my height right there. Okay. Now the next thing I want to do, once I do that, is measure up and see which kit I need. If I need a 10-inch or 12-inch, and here I need a 12-inch. From the mark, I'm 10.5 inches to the top of the tub, so 11 3/4-inch kit's going to work, which we call an 8 by 12. So that's the size of a kit I've determined is going to be a 7 or an 8 by 12. Once you get your kit, you're going to open the box up, and you're going to have a cutting jig in there. which is 2 pieces of plywood. Okay. Now these pieces of plywood, you got to make sure the slope is sloping the right way. Okay, you can put these in upside down, make a mistake. So basically, this is going to go in. And always make sure you're lined up with one end of your jig. Okay, you can see all the grooves here, and you know I want to get my board in as close as I can here. So I just look at the side here and determine which board will clear, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4th hole in from the end. You want to be sure your boards are down in tight in the grooves in the jig. So you put it on a solid floor, and you make sure, then you check both ends, okay? See there, this one's not quite down right there. Okay, you always need some shim blocks to shim this up. So I'm going to go around to the back to have a look here. 1/4 of an inch too high, so I got to come down 3/4. In this case, I've decided to center this in the tub. So basically, just take a tape measure and do that. Okay. Okay, now as you can see, we got our jig in place. We've leveled both ways. You got to make sure you're level. Check your bathtub, and then check your jig. It's level, it's solid. Okay, when I mark it, nothing's going to move anywhere on me. Very simple to mark. I've made sure that my plywood is lining up on both sides, inside and outside. It's an erasable marker, so we're not going to be trying to erase ink after. Mark it inside and outside. Okay, that's the end of the work for our jig. Jig comes off. You can see our marks inside and outside. Okay, I'm slightly lower than my mark, but I'm going to be cutting on the inside of the mark, so I'm going to be close enough. So now I got to carry my marks across the top. You got to take your time with everything. If you try and rush, you're going to make a mess. Another quick check just to make sure you haven't screwed up and you're out of level or anything is just measure from the floor to your mark on both sides. Make sure your measurement is the same. This one's easy to tell because it's in the crease in the tub. Okay. Normally what we would do is we would mask this right along the cut line. Now this tub, it was a oddball color of a tub. We've painted it, and probably the paint's going to peel after, but we're using this for illustration purposes, so if you see it peeling after, you'll have to forgive us. Basically, that's how you do that. A lot of the reasons we tell you to do a practice tub is technique. When you start out, if your saw bounces here and goes over there or something, you chip somebody's tub, you end up doing a repair. So you need practice. You need to know how your saw is going to hit. There's going to be a double rib, so when you hit here and you got a short blade like this, you're liable to break your blade. I'm going to go down to it, and then I'm going to take the saber saw that's longer, and then I'm going to cut through that joint. When you're doing this tub, we didn't put a drop cloth in here because we're showing you the whole project. But if you don't have a drop cloth inside your tub and in front of your tub, even if you drop a tool or whatever, you're going to chip the tub or mark the tub. You've always got some dust and dirt, so put some drop cloths down. You can buy them for like $2-3 a piece at the lumber yard, and they're the best investment you're ever going to make. Now I'm going to make a cut on the inside and the outside here to get my blade in to cut across the bottom on both sides. I'm going to show you how I determined I had an 8-inch kit. You measure here, you only got 6 inches, 6 1/4. Was I wrong? This is a 7-inch kit, and it's not going to fit. By the time I drop this 7-inch kit in, I want to be hanging out at least 1/2 inch or so, at least that far. By hanging out that far, I'm short 1/2 inch on the inside. I got to go to an 8-inch kit, and that's just how easily you get fooled. Everybody measures by here, but see that's sloping that way. This is hanging out over here. It's all throwing you off. Plus the kit has to be in level. So whenever if you're going to make a mistake, always make a mistake and have a wider kit. If it sticks out a ½ inch extra or sticks in a ½ inch, it really doesn't matter. Another reason that you want to be carrying more than one kit with you, if you had someone measure this or even measured myself and made a mistake, and I need an 8-inch kit and I brought a 7-inch kit and I drove 50 or 60 miles, guess what? My whole day is shot. I've got a tub opened up. I'm going to leave my customer first, but I'm going to end up making an extra trip. Costs more money than carrying a few kits for inventory. So you can see now we've dropped an 8-inch kit in here. You always need a little bit of wiggle room. That gives you a little extra, okay? We're sticking out here. We can still set it this way a bit if we have to, as long as we've got enough room inside, which we still do if you have a look, okay? See, we've still got enough room inside there. But you always need a little bit of wiggle room, so don't be ordering these kits too tight. Like I say, order the next size bigger. This is your phenolic stiffeners kit. There's a piece we're going to put in the bottom. We'll put some blocks down first, some 2x4, 2x6 blocks. We've got to bring our phenolic stiffener up level with this sill here. Probably an 8 or 9 out of 10 of the bathtubs you work on, you're going to run across this brace right in the middle here. Now there's two things you can do. You can put blocks on either side, which is what I'm going to do, or you can cut it off. If you cut it off, you're liable to have vibration, and where it ties into the floor here, you could easily get some chipping. It happens fairly often. So we've got room. This board here is going to end up going in here. You'll see where. So I'm going to place blocks on both sides to support that, and then I'm not going to have any trouble chipping the floor. Notice I got blocks on both sides of my brace, and now I can clear. So I'll drop another one in. Now what you've got to determine the right height, because door kit's going to sit on this block here, which is actually going to be the bigger part, but I'm just using this as a spacer. See, I'm nice and level there, and I'm nice and level there. So this worked out perfect. What I got to do next, fit this bottom piece in. So what I've got here is 5.5 inches. Okay, this is straight here, so I'm going to measure off the back. 5.5 inches. This side I got 5 5/8 off the back again. Now I've got a slope here, so I'm going to have to trim that board like that, and then I'm going to lay a bit of silicone in there and jam it up in here after. Okay, so I'm going to determine that angle, cutting it on another block first. Okay, what I've done, I've trimmed this board on it actually worked out to be a 45. It's going to fit in underneath this. So now I got to really silicone this surface here and put a lot under there. The success of your whole installation kit for it not leaking is siliconing basically around this area here. We've got the side pieces cut out, which you'll see in a minute. So right now I'm going to go ahead and silicone this base and put it in place first. And don't try and save money on silicone. Don't slop it all over the place, but don't try and save money on silicone. This is going to be your seal, okay? And silicone makes an unbelievable glue. Once this stuff sets up, it's going to be staying here forever. Okay, we're going to go up the sides. And go past the edges. Don't just stop short and then have a corner leaking. Again, like I say, don't try and save money on silicone. That's a very poor place to save money. Okay, carefully squeeze it into place. Now you can see, I'm going to get a scraper and scrape this, but you can see silicone coming out everywhere. There's no way you're going to get water in there. Again, this is another spot. Dropping that block in and you want to be sure that you've got plenty of silicone. A silicone bed. Now I want to make sure that I don't squeeze silicone out there and make a mess, so I'm just going to run my scraper along like that, which is fine. We need the silicone on the inside here anyway. We're going to be covering all this with silicone, so that's where your excess needs to go. Now I've pre-cut these templates to fit, and I've fitted them. What I suggest, before you cut these, you cut a plywood template first, like 1/4 inch plywood or something, because when you mark it, you want this to fit nice and snug. Part of the success of your fit is if this goes in tight. If this goes in loose, we've got some screws in a package there that you can screw this into place, because you want to be able to leave the job the same day. If tapped it into place in silicone and left it for a day or two, you'd still be fine to put your side screws in for your door kit. But what I'm doing is making sure that everything fits tight today, because I want to be finished this job today. So basically what you got to do is fit this in. Okay, gently. Okay, I don't want it to go in too far. If you do go in too far and you have to pull it back, put a screw in and pull it back. But if you fitted it nice and tight, you shouldn't have any trouble. Okay, now I've got that fitted all the way around. Again, silicone squeezing out everywhere. And do the same on this side. Again, lots of silicone in these corners. I've done it before to drop this piece in. Now I'm doing it again here, okay? We're going to be sure that we don't have any chance of any leakage. Again, a nice bead along the front there. When this kit drops in, we're going to know it's bedded nice and tight in silicone. Another thing you want to do is you want to leave this silicone get air for a while. Otherwise it's just like leaving it in the tube. It's going to take too long to